Welcome to episode 14 on our podcast, The Full Armor of Game. Today we have a special podcast for you, dating younger women versus older women. And this goes back to the previous podcast, episode 13. We had a beautiful Colombian guest. Her name was Andrea, and she is in her early 40s. So we decided to do this podcast, me, Czar, and the Texting Prince, in order to handle any discrepancies that you think there is with what she said, fellas. And you have to understand something. Age makes a difference when it comes to game, and also the different pros and cons that come with dating younger women versus dating older women. We're going to break that down for you today.
You bring the crowns and heads of conquered kings to my city steps. You insult my queen. You threaten my people with slavery and death. This is Sparta! Put on the whole armor of game. This is where we fight! And these shield boys!
But first, our attraction mastery seminar for November 26th has been filled up. The spots fill up very quickly. So if you guys want to get on that seminar, you're going to have to wait for the following month in December. You can email me at czarofdating@gmail.com. And also the Texting Prince, he's going to tell you his email. You can email him there if you're interested.
At support@textingprince.com. And the 10 guys that are making it on our first ever one, we have you on an email list. So we will give you all the details. It will be starting November 26th for our first live coaching session.
And let me set the record straight. So when we talk about younger women versus older women, you can also state your opinion and view on this, Texting Prince. So when I say younger women, I'm saying under the age of 25, because that's usually, from scientific studies, that's when the brain fully matures at 25. That's when women are supposed to be emotionally mature. Okay, older women, I'm going to put above 25.
Okay, yeah. So my clarification I wrote down was younger women to me are 25 and under. And then I put a medium stage. There's to me a little bit of difference between 26 to 32-year-old women. And then I put older women, it was like 33 years older and plus, 33 plus.
Yeah, so keep that in mind, fellas. This doesn't go for 100% of the women we're talking about. We're only talking in a sense of majority of younger girls, majority of older women. Once again, there's very good quality younger girls out there. There's also trashy older women. So we want you to keep that in mind. This isn't 100% with everything we're saying here. So please do not take offense to anything we're saying, ladies, if you're listening to this. So one thing I want to tell you guys, with older women, you have to be less alpha, and you have to turn up the charm and charisma. We're teaching you real game here. We're not going to get into this, but we want to just set the record straight. Girls under the age of 25, you have to be more alpha, more narcissistic. And that's what Jordan Peterson talked about. You need to have more of those dark triad traits when it comes to younger girls. Okay, so that's one of the main differences when you are attracting the two, and we teach you that in the seminar for all of you guys that did sign up. Okay, now, Texting Prince, what's your number one difference, or you can say pros and cons of dating younger women versus older women?
Yeah, so one thing I did want to clarify just before we get going, we had some questions about the last podcast with Andrea, right? Mm-hmm. Andrea, is that how you pronounce it?
Andrea, the Colombian, yeah.
One thing she did mention in there that there's a few guys that reached out and had trouble understanding was she mentioned how a lot of the most beta men that she meets are bodybuilders and guys that are, in the gym all the time, or even military men, she said. And so I had some guys reach out to me and go, I'm a little confused. Do women want the dad bod, or do they want you to be in shape? And I think what she meant to say, or to clarify what she was saying, is that just because a guy has muscles does not mean he has a masculine mindset or an alpha mindset. So she meets guys that have muscles, but that doesn't mean he's alpha, because it's like Czar and I talk about a lot. It's your mindset. It's in that masculine mindset you have, or even in a sense, the stoic mindset. So the mindset is really powerful. So there are guys with a really alpha mindset that have an alpha body, but there are also guys that have alpha bodies that have a very weak beta needy mindset. And so she was mentioning that she runs into a lot of guys that maybe have muscles and they might use that as a crutch for more of a weaker beta mindset. But in general, a woman like a guy that's in shape and has a good looking body, I think she just meant that just because you have muscles does not make you alpha. Just because you have muscles does not make you masculine. But when you have that combined with the mindset, then that is more of that total package that we'd say. So I just wanted to clarify that because we had a few guys reach out. And we are going to bring back certain things that Andrea said in the last podcast to just kind of relate why younger and older women think differently. I myself and Czar, we actually both didn't know her age until we asked her. And if you've seen her on video, I mean, she looks pretty dang good for like low 40s. I would not have guessed that was her age. So when girls, the older women are giving you advice, guys, we already said this in the bad dating advice. It's not good to take women's advice, at whole for dating advice, because you're asking, the fish how to catch it. But like Czar pointed out perfectly in that podcast, a lot of women will speak half truths. And so there's going to be some things that Andrea said that I disagreed with. There was one for sure that we talked about, the chasing thing. I'll talk about that later, that I really disagreed with what she said. But in general, if we get more women on here, it's good for you guys to hear her perspective. And then we will try to come back in on the future episodes and just clarify some misunderstandings you may have had going on that. So with younger women versus older women, and then there's that kind of medium women in my mind range as well. When I say 25 and under, to me, some hard facts you got to know is that women 25 and under pretty much will even admit that they like games and fun experiences. They like what you could say the toxic guys, the guys that, are treat them like trash in a sense. Is even women will even say that out of their mouth, and they'll laugh about that when they're young. They're out there exploring, especially with, feminism pushing, go around, sleep with every guy, get it all out of your system, you go, girl. So when a girl's 25 and under, a key thing that I would say for all guys, if you're trying to date a 25 or under woman, is do not in any way pressure any type of relationship with her, because those girls will get scared off. The girls 25 and under, most of them in general, we're speaking generalizations, are not actually looking for a long-term boyfriend. Now, if she meets the right guy, of course she's going to want to lock you up. But I would never lead in with, oh, I really want something serious with a girl that's under 25. I would always let her bring that up first and really have it completely be her idea if you're looking for any relationship. Because if you try to say, hey, I'm dating for marriage, I'm dating for a long-term commitment, I want kids and all that on an early date with a girl 25 or under, that's going to scare most of these younger women off these days, where you might be able to just game her and she'll fall in love with you and you can get what you want in that sense too, maybe start a family with her. But if you lead with that to me is something that's going to scare younger women off, is trying to lead with that relationship up front.
I love that point. And to back that up, majority of these younger girls, like these 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, if you see them with a boyfriend, number one, that guy that they're with, I'm going to say 99% of the time, especially if they're around the same age, she's using him for full validation, full attention, full compliments. They need that. When they're at such a young age, they need that from someone. And these girls end up cheating for the dumbest reasons you can possibly think of. Oh, some girl messaged him that I saw, I'm going to go cheat on him. So they're more likely to act out on their immature emotions. Oh, he pissed me off one night. Now I'm going to go have a train run on me, or I have to get him back. So that's one of the cons of dating these younger girls, fellas. And this is why I tell you can do whatever you want. I do not advise you get in a relationship with these young girls because they're not ready to build anything with you. Their life is stressed. They're going through drama. They're in college. They don't know what they want. They don't have any money. They don't have a good career. So they're going to be using you as that 24/7 validation and attention. So you can date them, have fun, whatever. But personally, me, my sweet spot is 25 and older. Okay. And we're going to explain those differences. So just keep that in the back of your mind. I'm not saying all of them cheat, right? We all know majority of women cheat, but the younger girls cheat for dumber reasons. Okay. For dumbass reasons.
Well,
we all know that.
If you think about it too, younger women 25 and under are typically in way more, cheating scenarios because they're going out to more parties. They're exploring the bar life, the club life. They're going to bachelorette parties with their girlfriends. They're going on trips. A lot of younger women have a lot more of those experiences as well. And they're in that party atmosphere a lot more than people that are, past that stage on to more of the career life where you're more in the real world than in that college, high school party atmosphere, 24/7.
Yeah.
But again,
you made a great point right there. The older women, they don't put themselves in environments that these young girls put themselves in. And I guarantee you these young girls are getting much more messages than the older women are on social media, right? So I prefer the older women, okay? In my opinion, less baggage, less shit you have to deal with. They might go out for a drink or two in a romantic bar, nothing crazy, no loud music, but it's a chill night. These young girls, they have so much energy. They could be out at a rave until 3 a.m. Then they go to the after club. Then they're walking through New York City. There's an energy difference, okay? And Andrea said that she has a strict time she goes to sleep every night, 8:30 p.m. She's not up past 8:30 p.m. You guys will notice that older women, if you want to text them past a certain time, it's already too late. You could text a young girl at 2 a.m. She'll be up and reply to you, right? Ready to go. But older women, they have a set schedule. They have to be up the next morning. They don't have as much energy as these young girls. So keep that in mind as well, fellas. Okay, choose your poison, whichever one you like.
Yeah, and actually, that's a funny point. So last night I had a younger girl over. She spent the night. She's about to leave on a trip for like 3 months out of state. So she wanted to hang out before she leaves. And we were up till 3:30 a.m. partying. We had some fun, got it on. And immediately afterwards, she looked at me and man, it was like a tiring session. It was already late out night. I'm not as young as I once was.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, she looked at me and she goes, I want to do this at least 2 or 3 more times before I leave tomorrow. And I looked at her, I was like, probably not going to happen. I'm getting up early. No. Mm-hmm. So she wanted the all night long partying. She wanted the all night sleeping together all night, all morning type thing, which back in my younger years, I would have been like, let's go. But, I got stuff to do now. I had to get up early for something too. So that is just a thing that I used to really love about the younger women. But now it's, more like, well, hey, hold on. I got an actual life I have to take care of here. So I can't party with you all night on a Sunday night because we're filming this Monday. And then, get up and just have fun all day long too. I got things I got to do.
Yeah, they'll sleep with you 10 times in one day if they could. These young girls, man,
like
they
a bunny rabbit.
Like a bunny rabbit, right? These older women, they don't have that kind of energy. Not that they can't do it, but they're cool with just sleeping with you once and getting it out of their system.
Yeah. And another thing, kind of a discrepancy of the younger women that I noticed too is that when I'm matching with girls on dating apps or I meet a girl in the real world and she's 25 and under, it is so much easier for me to get that girl to come over to my place and Netflix and chill is our first date in a sense because I have text game. So I'm able to, play the whole game over text and all that to the point where it's a lot easier for me to get the first hangout at my place. I find that's more difficult with women that are 26 and older. It's more than likely most of these women, even if they're, I can tell they're into me, they usually are like, well, let's meet out, in public first type thing. And so then you got to take them on one date and that's, at that point versus 25 and under. If you got enough game, you can get these girls to just come on over on the first night sometimes a lot more easily than some of those younger or some of those older women.
That's so true. And I remember I talked about this on another podcast where this guy I was doing a consultation with told me his college stories. He went to St. Louis and he was on a dating app, and he would tell me stories of these young girls that would match with him. And most of the times these young girls would just tell him, come over. It was that easy, right? Come over. My parents aren't home. I'm like, God damn. Like it's that easy. You can just go over, no one's home, and they just want one thing, right? But majority of older women, man, it's going to take time. Okay, your game has to be tight before you even go back to their place. I'm not saying don't try. Always try to go back to your place or her place at the end of the night. But they're not up for the Netflix and chill. That's just the reality of it.
Because they've had their fun, right? They've had the fun, toxic guys already in their younger years. And so they've seen more tricks in a sense. So they're a little bit more wily and experienced to the point where they're like, all right, you're charming, but you're still going to have to take me out on one date first type thing. And that's kind of the game that they'll play, even though, like there'll be girls I'm texting. I'm like, oh, she wants me. I could probably get her over. But these older women are more of the like, well, at least take me out for a drink at the bar first type thing. And it's more of that, like, they don't want to get fooled again to just coming over to some random guy's house that's, playing games with them. Yeah, of course it can happen for sure. We're just giving you generalizations that you might run into when you're dating different type of age ranges with women.
Like we said, none of this is 100%. Okay, so keep that in the back of your mind, fellas, when it comes to the younger and older women, right? There's always rare exceptions. Now, my number one pro for dating younger girls, and you guys pay attention to this, because I've dated younger girls. Me and the Texting Prince have dated all age ranges of women. We have that kind of a game. We've lived this life. Okay. Younger girls are more programmable compared to older women. Younger girls, you can program their minds. You can't really do that with older women because they've already had experience throughout their lifetime. They're not a blank slate. The younger girls, I believe, are still a blank slate if they meet that dude that can lead the way for them. If you're that alpha that can show her leadership ability, she will damn near let you lead her anywhere. Good or bad, she'll follow your lead. You tell her certain things, she'll believe it. You put her on game, you can reprogram her mind, she will believe it cold-heartedly. But older women, they're not as naive as these younger girls are. Older women already have their program where they have their own shit, they have their own money, they have a good job, they've been dating guys, they know the program, they've been through this, they've been through that. Younger women haven't been through that yet. They don't come with as much baggage as older women. So keep that in the back of your mind. You can still program the older women. What I'm saying is it's much easier to program these young girls, especially if you're that dude they look up to.
Yeah, I mean, again, relating it to animals, which, people have problems with, but it makes sense. It's like you get a puppy, you train it your own way. You train that puppy how you want it to behave, all that from younger versus they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's a lot harder because that older dog has already been through that life experience. So that's kind of a way you can look at it is like the puppy dogs that are like, you can kind of put them in your program. You're showing them a lot of these new fun experiences they haven't had yet. So you're able to teach them along the way versus the older women have more of that already life experience and guys they've dated. So it's harder. Like Czar said, it's not a blank chalkboard that you're writing on now. There's already the chalk up there and it would be your job. Then you'd have to erase that chalkboard and retrain them in that way. But that's always an extra step of more work in that sense.
Your next one?
Yeah. And I guess another thing I want to bring up here in general, right? So to me, with most women react, like women in general react differently than men on a lot of things. So that all women, you got to remember their dating strategy. It's just how they're hardwired is hypergamy, which means that they want the highest status man that they feel they can attain commitment from to protect and provide for them. So remembering that always, that hypergamy is in every woman, That's why with every woman, regardless of her age, to me, it's always still completely a huge factor rule that you cannot let a woman know that you need her more than she needs you. Because when you need her more than she needs you, and that can look like you're texting her back way quicker, you're double texting her, you're trying to constantly reach out to her, then again, if you think of hypergamy, she wants the highest status man she feels she can attain commitment from. Well, if she feels she can attain that commitment from you right up front, you're sending her all the signs that you want the relationship, you like her a lot and all that, then just inside of her, it's her dating strategy, her mating strategy, she will on some level go, well, I have this guy, he's already in my pocket, now I want to keep exploring my options to see if I can find a higher status guy than that guy that likes me to attain commitment from. So again, with all women, to me, it's important that she is always the one that's bringing up the relationship. She's the one that is more invested in a sense than you are, because if a woman feels that you're more invested, that will trigger that hypergamy for her to go, okay, well, I have this guy, maybe he's really cool, but on some level, she'll be looking around in her peripheral vision over her shoulder for other guys, because her dating strategy is, again, to go through the entire world and find the highest status man she feels she can attain commitment from. So the sooner you let her know that she can get that from you, then that's when other men will pop up in her life. It doesn't mean she'll go out to the clubs looking for it, but it means that she knows that she has a guy at home. Well, now at work, if she meets some other guys and she's like, okay, this is interesting, this guy is pretty high status, I wonder if I could get him. So that's why, to me, it's always important, regardless of age, that you as the man are less invested, or you don't let her feel like you're more invested into the relationship than she is.
What word will never be seen as high value? The word need. If you need her more than she needs you, game over. If you need her to be your therapist, or you need to be coddled by her, this is why I tell men, do not share your weaknesses. Doesn't matter if she's younger or older. Women don't give a shit about your problems. No one does. The cold hard truth is no one gives a shit about a man's problem. But guys still don't want to listen to us. But that word need, if you need her to solve any of your problems, game over. Need, take that word out of your vocabulary. Replace it with I want, I will get, I would like. Take that word out. That word will never be seen as high value. That's why neediness is one of the most unattractive qualities. That is repulsive to a woman. So, number 2, younger. Andrea mentioned how she's not going to chase any guys. She's done with chasing. So, I could be wrong, but in my opinion, from what she said, right, she's not chasing any guys. They can come to her. They can reach out to her. I believe when she was much younger that she was chasing the men that she wanted. I think older women will still do that, but you really have to be that dude in her eyes. It might take a little bit longer for an older woman to start chasing you fellas, but as long as she's being receptive to your text messages every time you want to set up a date, they're all yours. They don't play these games that young girls play where, oh, you know what? I'm not going to text him back. I'm going to wait a couple hours. I'm going to act like I'm busy. I might even text him back the next day. No, older women don't do that. They might be at work during their lunch break. They'll text you like, hey, sorry, I was busy. I was doing a client's hair. How are you? They might get out of work. Hey, I just got home. Yeah, I'm good for Friday. Let's hang out. So they typically don't play these games that these young, immature girls play. They've been through all that. But I still think women secretly like the chase. They will always like the chase, but I think when they get to a certain age, they're done with the games. So maybe you can throw that word chase in there as being part of the game that they're done with. I still have had older women chase me, but it took much longer, fellas. It takes a much longer time. Some of these young girls, because of how naive they are, they'll believe anything, especially if you have game. You can tell them a magical story and they'll fucking believe it. They'll start chasing you right away. So that's one of the main differences, okay? Older women, they'll answer you on time. They'll text you back. They'll set up the date, okay? they're busier than the average young girl because of the work style, the work and the lifestyle that these older women have, but they'll still get back to you. They'll be receptive. Okay. That is one of the main differences. Don't think that, oh, she's not answering me. No, they're very busy. Older women are very busy, and some of them have kids. These young girls are always on their phone. If she's not texting you back, she's either playing games or she's not that into you.
Yeah, and good clarification. I'm glad you brought that up, because that was one of the main points that Andrea said that I definitely disagreed with when she said it. Is she mentioned that she won't chase, but she did mention that her older girlfriends that she was talking to will chase. That they're still like, they'll reach out. So it was her in that sense being the exception. But what I believe is that all women, again, like Czar said, want to chase secretly because they want to go after the high status man. They don't want the high status man to come after them, because that looks, a little more beta or needy. Mm-hmm. So older women will tell you more that they won't chase. They'll have that solidified mindset. No, I'm not going to chase. But again, secretly, they will chase the right guy. But like we said with hypergamy, the highest status man she feels she can attain. Well, older women have been through a lot more men, or a lot more high status men. So like Czar said, it's going to take longer for her to buy in and go, okay, this guy is high status. I do want him and I want to chase. But her words, older women's words, will say stuff like that. I'm done with games. I don't chase. I still wholeheartedly believe that it's always best for a woman to be chasing after a man, and a man to be chasing after his goals, his purpose in life. A man to be ambitious. So he's chasing something higher up, and that girl's chasing him. That is the mating dance, no matter how old a woman is. But older women will kind of tell you otherwise. They'll say, no, I don't chase. That's kind of they're stuck in their ways type attitude. They'll say that, but I don't believe it. And one example that Andrea brought up is that back in the, dawn of time, the men out there were hunting. They're used to hunting and going after what they want, pursuing things. So she related that to older, alpha men should be chasing and pursuing the women they want. Where I disagree is that, yes, the hunters of the world were going out and chasing, hunting, but they were hunting. They were on their purpose on that sense. They were hunting to provide for the tribe. They were hunting because that was what they needed to do. That was that ambition. So she related it to hunters should chase and go after what they want. I disagree. I think it was a good example she brought up, but there's a clarification there, is that hunter was on his purpose. He was chasing what he needed to do to survive. That was ambition in that sense. But women still want that ambitious guy that's chasing a goal or chasing, higher aspirations in his life. And then she wants to join that. No woman wants a hunter in the sense to be setting his only goal on chasing a woman and pursuing her. Because again, that guy should always be chasing or pursuing something higher, ambitious goals, his purpose in life. And then she comes along for the ride. So that's one that you'll hear from older women is, well, hunters chase after what they want. It's like, no, hunters are on their purpose, providing for their tribe, but they're chasing woolly mammoths. They're hunting for the meat for the tribe. They're not hunting women out there. They're just on their purpose. So that's one of those kind of tricky ones that can make you go, oh, that really makes sense. Yeah, hunters chase after what they want. It's like, no, hunters chase after their purpose and ambition. And then the women back in the tribe are attracted to that because those guys are chasing something bigger, but they're not chasing women in that sense.
Agreed. Thank you for clarifying that up. And I always believe that a man should pursue, never chase. And a lot of them get that twisted. A lot of people don't understand the differences. We're not going to get into that right now, not for this podcast. Okay. So younger women, they can help breathe life inside of you due to the high amounts of energy they have. We talked about that. Younger women have more energy. The younger you are, the more energy you have. I'm 33 and I already noticed a difference. So the younger you are, the more energy you have, guys. So please do not take that for granted. Okay. But these young girls, they can bring you back to life with their energy that they have, if it's in a positive way. They're also in their prime years with their fertility. So they have that natural glow to them. They're more beautiful. They don't have as many wrinkles. They're majority of them aren't out of shape, right? They're in their prime years. They can damn near eat anything and they won't even gain weight until past 30. So that's one of the pros of being with a younger girl is her fertility, how beautiful and youthful she still looks. Not to say that older women aren't beautiful, because there's some badass mature women out there who look better now than they did when they were younger, because they took care of themselves. They still take care of themselves. Okay. But we're talking about majority of younger women. They have that youthfulness to them, fellas. So that's one of the pros. If you have a badass 18-year-old, she's willing to follow your program, follow your lead. Listen, man, you walk in anywhere with that girl, you will shut down a room. It will be all eyes on you.
Yeah, and here's where I have a clarification of the like under 25 versus the 26 to 32 kind of window. The kind of medium age women is that younger women that are 25 and under, they have that fertility, all that, and they don't even believe it'll ever go away. She has no worries that she won't be able to find a guy to settle down with, because she's getting so much attention and validation everywhere she goes through social media, dating apps, and all that. So younger women under 25, they're not worried in the sense that, well, my time's ticking. I might not be able to find a man and start a family, if that's, in the back of her mind, that's something she wants. But when women hit 26 to about 32 years age or 32 years old, I find that these women, again, if they have any want or desire for a family, then from that 26 to 32, that's when women start to get a little bit more worried about their future, about trying to get that. A lot of their friends are getting married now. A lot of their friends are having children. And so now they're starting to go, whoa, I've been dating around for a while now. Now they're getting more worried and looking, that 26 to 32 age, gap is when women are more looking for a potential family-oriented man, a guy that also wants the same things that she wants, in the sense of she wants, potentially having a family. So if I were to date a 25 or under woman, again, I have no pressure in any way of trying to lock her down for a relationship. I will never bring that up. That will scare her off. But the girls that are 26 to 32, you'll typically find that some of the first questions they'll ask you is like, what are you looking for? And to me, if you're dating a 26 to 32-year-old woman, it's important to have this in the back of your mind, that you want to frame it in such a way that you are open to finding the right woman. That's when, if it's a girl from 26 to 32, you can say, well, I'm just, enjoying dating around, but I'm open to finding the right woman to potentially settle down with and start a family with. That is the more of that sweet spot there, where you could mention that, where if they're 25 or under, a lot of those women are like, that's way too far out. I just want to have fun. They don't really care to hear that. But the 26 to 32-year-old women, a lot of times they're dating, and now selectively dating, to the point where they're looking for a guy that at least is open to some of those same things, like the family and the long-term commitment. So like for 25-year-old and under women, like those are the women where I can just be like, nah, I'm single and I'm enjoying it. I'm not looking to settle down in any way. And that's fine. That's enough for these women. They're kind of like, a lot of them are cocky too. They're kind of like, well, yeah, right. I bet you I'll get you hooked and then you'll want to date me. So they still take that as a challenge, versus if I were to say that to 26 to 32-year-old women, I'm not looking at all. I'm single, going to be single my entire life. I don't want any type of relationship. I'm just out here having fun. Then in that 26 to 32 age range of women, there are going to be some of those women where you'll just lose them right away, because they're like, well, I'm dating with intention now. I want the option of finding a guy. So that's where the wording is different with those women. It's like, hey, I'm dating around having fun, but I'm open to finding the right woman to potentially settle down with. Now, again, I'm not coming in guns blazing ever, and you shouldn't either, of going, yeah, I'm looking to date for marriage right now. That's still going to scare women off, because you're putting more investment in that sense than she is. But it's that little tweaking of, I'm open to finding the right woman to potentially settle down with, because that 26 to 32 year range is when they're starting to hit that kind of baby fever. They have their friends getting married. They have their friends having children, and they want to at least believe that a guy that they meet is open to that if things go well.
And older women, I've experienced this as well. They don't have time for the games or the bullshit. If you do something where they feel as if, you know what, this isn't for me, they're gone. They're not coming back. Like, older women are quick to shut you out of their life, and they can do it very well, fellas. I've been through that recently as well, because this older, beautiful Brazilian woman asked if I was dating or seeing anyone else. I didn't know she wanted a relationship, but apparently she was putting out the signs. Maybe I was too blind to see it. And I'm always honest. I'm not going to lie to women. I said, yes, I'm dating another girl, younger, 25. After that, never saw her again. Never saw her again. But these younger girls, especially that 25-year-old that I'm still dating now, she found out that I was still messing with my ex and seeing her. She didn't leave me. Right? So there's a fine line between the younger girls. They'll still chase you. They're like, no, that asshole, he's not going to end this quickly with me, or I have to have the last laugh. Where are you going? They're going to show up at your house. They're going to blow up your phone 50 times. Older women, once they're gone, see you later. That's it. Good luck getting them back. Okay. Because I think that comes with experience. They can move on quicker. You can't really imprint them. Younger girls, you can imprint. That goes back to the whole imprinting.
Yeah. And, and I agree with that too. It's harder to get them back. And like, I was seeing a girl for probably 5 or 6 months. And when I say seeing, it wasn't exclusive, but her family lives in my town. I met her when I was playing pickleball. I might have talked to her about her on one of the other podcasts. She was 27 and she was looking for she wanted a family. She wanted a wedding and a family. So with that girl, although I'm always honest and about like, hey, I'm not sitting here looking to date for marriage right now. Like, I was open with her in the sense that I'm just open dating around type thing. But that was where it's like, I'm open to finding the right woman. But I even told her, I was like, but to be honest, I don't look, I really think the marriage laws are, trash for men. And so I was honest with her about where I feel about marriage and how I think, marriage can be a raw deal for men. And so she heard that, and she knew that marriage wasn't something that I was very gung-ho about, and she would really have to convince me if I was to ever do that, which again, I'm not in any way wanting to get married at this point in time with the marriage laws. But she stuck around for, like I said, 4, 5, 6 months of hanging out, having fun, because I still told her I'm open to finding the right woman, but it's going to take a heck of a lot because of where I view the marriage system right now. So we hung out for a while, and then she finally, after 5 or 6 months, she realized like I was really serious. Like, yeah, I'm probably not going to get married. And then she was like, I have to start dating for my future. And I was like, I totally understand that. And so I haven't talked to her for a couple months now. She might have a boyfriend or something like that, but she, lives an hour and a half or 2 hours away anyway. But she's dating for marriage and dating for the family thing right now. Versus if she was 25 or under, we'd be hanging out on and off for 2, 3, 4 years until she hits that mark, because she wouldn't worry about it. But this girl was like, she gave it a chance. I was open to find the right woman, but she knew, okay, he's probably never going to marry me type thing. So eventually she was like, hey, I respect where you stand, but I need something different. And I said, I respect that too. And so we basically had to part our ways in that sense. Now, will probably hear from her if she ever breaks up with her boyfriend and comes back into town and wants to hang out. But again, she's going to be one where she knows when she hangs out with me, we're going to have fun, do our thing, but she's probably not going to get me to commit to marriage. So again, I know that that'll be another short-term type of situationship that comes up randomly when it happens, versus me trying to force some type of relationship where I know I don't want marriage, she wants marriage, and then we're in some silly relationship where in a year from now, it's going to be the same thing. I don't want marriage and she does. And then you have to break up at that point. So it's more of like, we're both just knowing it's a situationship at this point. It's not going to be long-term, but that's that age range. She was 27 and she was looking for that next level of commitment, which I was not looking for.
Mm-hmm. And think of it this way, fellas, the younger girls, right? Say if you're dating another girl, your main chick finds out, she gets a text message from that other girl, hey, I've been fucking your man, blah, blah, blah. That younger girl, she might be pissed off emotionally because women's emotions are temporary, but I don't think she's going to leave you. If you do that with an older woman, and say if another girl messages her, or, you know, you're married and let's say your wife finds out, she messages that older one, she's gone. That's it. She doesn't have time for the games. I don't care how long you've been dating her, how amazing the sex was. She is fucking gone. These young girls, they don't care. They really don't care. Like if you were fucking with another girl, just be honest, admit it. As long as you're not being a needy beta male barnacle where you're pushing her away, they'll always come back. Okay. That's one of the biggest differences. And I've lived that life. So I can tell you this from experience. Okay. A thing with younger girls, this is the next point. Younger women have that twilight innocence where they haven't been through the hardships of life. They haven't really been through the cold world that older women have been through throughout the years. So it's very captivating when these younger girls are around you. There's something about their innocence that you really enjoy being around. With older women, they kind of lost that twilight youth, that twilight innocence. So you're not going to get the same energy from the older women that you do from the younger girls. So they actually give you that childlike innocence when you date these younger girls. It feels good. You feel alive. Like I said, they breathe new life inside of you. And this is also coming from experience. Okay. That was my next point.
Yeah, they're not as jaded by life yet as most people realize in the real world. It's like, dang, I gotta do that, I gotta work, I gotta do that, I gotta pay bills and all that. Like the younger girls are still Candyland. Everything is awesome from the Lego movie. So I talked about younger women, 25 and under. I talked about medium women, 26 to 32. A discrepancy I have now with older women that are 33 years old, in my opinion, or older, is I find there's usually two types of these type of women. They're the older women that strictly want a clean, easy, friends with benefits situation because maybe they're in the mom life and they only have a few days each week where they're free and they just want to have fun and they, you know, with a guy that they know is cool and all that, and they want the non-attached friends with benefits. So you'll find that with some of these women. You'll find that with some of the women that were married way younger and they got out of a, you know, marriage, but they never had their chance to do their hot girl summer. They never had a chance to do their eat, pray, love, find themselves and sleep around stage. So again, there's going to be those women that are 33 and older that are coming into that stage where at that point, they're almost like the younger women where they want the games, they want the fun, they want all that excitement. But then there's a big group of these women that are more in the looking for the long-term provider or the long-term stability in a man. That's when they're dating for a serious relationship. They're not looking to be alone anymore. They want, you know, they want a provider in that sense, a guy that's, you know, stable and not going to play games with them. So there's two different groups of women once you hit 33 and older. But one key point that I would say all guys need to be aware of, and I believe Andrea mentioned this when she had one of her older girlfriends dated some younger guy, is if you're with a girl that's 33 or older, you do not want to lead with, hey, it's really important to me to have a family and children. Because when a girl's 33 and older, her fertility window, it's way, geriatric pregnancy, I think, is like 36 or something like that. So when it's a 33 or older woman, I personally would not suggest any guy leads with, hey, I want the kids. I want the family thing. I want a girl that can provide me children, because some of these women have already decided, well, children aren't for me. And that's the way, not the route she wants. But then a lot of these women become very insecure because they realize they're 33 now and they're not going to be able to give that guy children because she's approaching that age where it's much more difficult to have children. So if you lead in with, if you're dating an older woman and you lead in with, I really want kids, I want the family and all that, that can turn women off because of, that's going to make her feel really insecure because she's going to be like, I can't give that to him. And then she's going to be like, well, this sucks. I like this guy, but now I just know he wants children. So he's just, you know, we're never going to be able to have that. So when I look at 33 or older women, typically they're in that stage where they just want to have friends with benefits, fun. they want to, get out on the dating scene because they were married for a long time and just want the no strings attached fun, or they're looking for long-term provider stability in a relationship, but pretty much not looking for children because it's just way more difficult at that age. So I would not, if I was a guy dating one of these women, bring up children, bring up how important it is for me to have children. If that's something you want, you're going to want to probably look for younger women in that, 26 to 32-year-old range is going to be a lot of women looking for that same thing. And the 25 and under women, if you have the right game, you can shape them into that. But the older women, I pretty much wouldn't bring up that that's something you want, because she's going to know deep down that she cannot give that to you, and it will make her feel insecure every time she's around you. So she might ghost you or just not want to hang out with you anymore because she feels embarrassed in a sense.
And majority of them already have children. Like, you'll notice this, fellas. Yeah. If you want a relationship with them, that's on you. I don't advise it. I want a woman without children. I'll still date these women, but nothing serious. I have no problem dating single mothers or older women because I love all women. Do I want a relationship? No. But one pro with older women, they cater to your needs better than younger girls. Older women have taken care of their man before by cooking for him, making him meals, making sure he's happy, giving him massages, doing everything in their power to make sure he's content and he's happy. They come equipped with that manly treatment. If you ever get jammed up, it's the older women that have the money that she will use to bail you out. And I've been in situations like that. It wasn't the younger girls, it was the older women. Hey, listen, I need $1,300. I'm jammed up. Cool, meet me at the Bank of America parking lot right now. Boom, that's how quick it was. Within 5 minutes, she was there. Envelope of $1,300 cash. Blue face bills. 100s. Here you go. Don't worry about it. You never have to pay me back. So that's one of the pros. If your game is tight enough, you can have these older women giving you money. Not saying manipulate them, but if you're ever in a bad situation, they will be there for you, fellas. Imagine saying that to a young girl. Hey, listen, I'm jammed up. I need $1,300. She ain't going to get that for you. Okay. Majority of these young girls, they ain't going to do that for you.
She might sell her feet online or something.
Yeah. I don't care what she has to do. Yeah. A good girl, she'll start selling her farts, right? All right. I got an OnlyFans. I'm selling my farts in a jar, whatever she has to do. But when you sleep over an older woman's house, you ask her to not ask her, you tell her to make you a cup of coffee. She's going to make you the best fucking cup of coffee you'll ever have in your life. She'll add cinnamon to it. She'll add those tiny little marshmallows. She'll add some caramel syrup, whatever the fuck, in one of her favorite mugs. Try getting a young girl that you're dating, 18, 19, to even make you a fucking cup of coffee. They have no idea what they're doing. They don't even have cookbooks. They've never cooked before. Imagine asking them to making you, I don't know, oatmeal. Or, hey, babe, can you make me
like DoorDash the oatmeal?
Yeah, I can
DoorDash it. I know an app for
DoorDash it. Yeah, but these older women, they'll come in a mason jar. Here's your oatmeal, right? Get a good workout in. I made you dinner for tonight as well. You can come pick it up. Like, these older women, they know how to treat a man. That's what I like. Because these young girls, I've dated young girls where they come with good traditional values, especially if they're European or they're not Americanized. They don't believe in feminism. They were brought on good moral values. They have both parents in the house. There's always rare exceptions. I'm not saying these girls don't know anything, but I'm telling you, man, those older women, they will cater to your needs if you're that guy. Do not take it for granted, because you will lose them, fellas. What do we always tell you? Show your appreciation. By them doing this for you, they're showing you their admiration. So you better be showing your appreciation back and not taking any of this treatment for granted.
Yeah, that's another thing I also like about older women, especially when I was, in the teaching world and I was in my young 20s and I was around all women. Everywhere I went, all the elementary schools, all women. Well, there are women that were divorced, older women like that. I had a couple situationships with, like, when I was 22, there was like a 42-year-old woman, and like she invited us out, flew me out to Hawaii. She had a timeshare. She rented a convertible for us. She paid for all of the meals. She just wanted to nurture me in that sense. And what I was giving her in that sense was the youthful fun that she was looking for. She had been out of a long-term marriage and she just wanted to kind of get her confidence back and have some fun. And so she was happy to treat me. We'd show up because we taught at the same school, and I'd be, going into my classroom, and she already had, a quad shot iced coffee waiting on my desk because she picked one up earlier. And she would always surprise me with things. She would make all these nice dinners, and she would have leftovers. She'd text me, "Hey, Adam, I got leftovers in the fridge for you for lunch." And she would make me these nice little meals and have them ready for me. And that was really nice treatment. I really enjoyed that. Also, something with older women is typically older, like when you're going out with younger women, younger women don't have as much money, and they're just expecting the treatment they get from the simps and all that stuff. So they're mostly less grateful if you pay for a date and all that stuff, and they're mostly not going to look to ever pay for the date or even go halves on you. But with older women, if I take an older woman out and we, have some drinks and I pay for the drinks, a lot of times those women will want to reciprocate by saying, "Hey, next time I'm going to take you out." Or, or she'll be the one that's like wants to bring wine over to my place, and she wants to actually contribute to it. She's not as much of just a taker. She's more of a balanced. Like if you took her out, she wants to also take you out, or she wants to show you that she can benefit your life in some way, versus a lot of the younger women are just always praised for the beauty and youth that they don't feel that they even need to, in a sense. So older women typically, I find, are a lot more reciprocal of treating you well. When you do something for them, they want to do something for you as well. And so that's a nice thing about some of these older women.
I was out in Red Bank, really great spot in Jersey. Anyone from Jersey listening, thank you. Met up with this older, beautiful bombshell. She looks like she was out of a Barbie movie. First date, I paid for drinks. This was a center where you can go to multiple bars, walk, and there's a new bar right there. I'm not familiar with the area. We went to another bar. She paid for that second date that night. Right? She paid. No problem. Try having a young girl doing shit like that for you. It's almost unheard of. There are women that will do that for you. I didn't even ask her. She said, "Don't worry. I got this date. I'm going to take care of you now." This is the first time I met her. This is the pros that come with dating older women, fellas. Right? But once again, there's always those cons. Okay. Older women have more baggage that they come with due to the longer life that they lived. It's true. They have more trauma. They have more experience. They've been through this cold, hard world that we live in. They don't have that innocence anymore like these younger girls do. So that's one of the cons, and you have to be okay with that.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, especially these days. I know back in the day, or back in in other countries, it's different, that a lot of women are raised to know how to cook meals and know how to, clean up a house and make it look tidy and all that. Well, a lot of younger women, at least in America, do not have those skills. They grew up on the DoorDash life. They grew up on the, I don't need to learn how. It's not a woman's job to make meals and all that stuff. So a lot of American younger women don't even have the skills to create meals for you, bake them for you. Where older women, that's some fun things too, is like, I could go, I could hang out with an older woman and be like, "Hey, I got some wine. We can come over to my place," and she'll be like, "Great, I'll pick up groceries and cook us a meal." Like that's the type of thing that you can get, where instead of needing to go out for a dinner date, she can cook dinner at your place because she has those skills now, because she's been through life and lived on her own or had children and now knows how to make meals, which just in America, it's way, way, way more rare for younger women to know and appreciate cooking and want to do that for a man, versus as they get, a little bit more aged through life. And then they're like, "Well, no, I can cook. I'd love to cook for you." And like, I know you can't always relate dating to like your mom or something like that. But my mother, whenever I go over to my mom's place, my parents' place, she is like, no matter what she's doing, she's right when I show up, "Oh, Adam, can I make you anything? Would you like me to, cook for anything?" Like I stayed at their place last weekend. And in the morning, my mom got up, "Hey, Adam, let me make you a cup of coffee. What do you want for breakfast?" She cooked me this really nice breakfast burrito. And then, she's like, "Do you want another cup of coffee?" Made me another one. And like that they like to take care of someone. That's my mother, right? So that's going to be different from women you're dating. But older women tend to like to provide that for people. They like to nurture people and take care of them more because they've had more of that motherly instinct instilled in them than the young women that are still just out there to party and have fun, versus that, enjoyment they get from taking care of and nurturing someone in that way.
What did you say, right? They grew up in a different time. So all you guys that think older women have a higher body count, they're expired. Let me break this down for you right now for all you guys and influencers out there that brag about dating only 18-year-old girls. These girls grew up in a hookup culture. These girls have no morals. A dick is a dick to her. The older women, they grew up in a different time, before feminism was where it is now, before the hookup culture, before social media. They were already in long-term relationships. Hopefully not cheating on their man, but sleeping with the same guy. Majority of them got out of marriages. Majority of them got out of long-term relationships. They have kids, so they're not familiar with the hookup culture. I'd like to argue that the older women, I know the ones I date, the older women have a lower body count than these younger girls out here because they're all going through their inner rocker slut phase. The older women didn't have the dating apps. It was harder for them to meet a guy. They had to go out, put work in. These younger girls, it's so easy for them. It's so easy for them. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. If you meet a girl that's old-fashioned, has good morals, both her parents are together, you know that her mom is a good mother. She's a loving, caring mother. Her dad is the leader. He taught her those good moral values. That is a good quality girl. But majority of these young girls, they don't have that anymore. They don't. Single mothers, fathers who have become beta cucks. But the old-fashioned women, they had those strong masculine role models in their life. And God was very important. To majority of these older women, they are virtuous. They believe in a God. They have those morals instilled in them. They went to church. They were going to mosque. They were going to synagogue. These young girls can fucking care less. They don't care.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because it will be interesting in 10 years from now. The older women we're talking about are going to be the younger women right now that have been through the stage where they're sleeping around from day one. So those older women at that point will be probably way more promiscuous than anyone. But right now, like you're saying, the women that have not been through this new dating app era, this new, not only that, but also where it's like older women know that there was shame for sleeping around and sleeping around and all that. A lot of younger women honestly believe it's an accolade for them to be able to sleep with a bunch of guys because they've been pushed in mainstream media everywhere they go that, women can do anything men can do. You do you. Go around, have your fun, sleep around, and they are only praised for it. You can't even shame them because your videos get banned on YouTube for anyone that shames anyone about body count. So they really grew up in a different era where they didn't even think that they should be ashamed of having a huge high body count, where at least older women know that, you used to never want to be called the girl that got around, versus some younger women now, they're like, that's right. All these guys want me. I'm hot stuff. So it really is a different era, a different mindset for a lot of than a lot of the women growing up.
And think about this.
Time.
Think about this. What do we say? These younger girls are more programmable. Now look at all the programming that they're going through. Oh, it's okay to have a high body count. They watch all these videos, girls getting attention, showing off their bodies. Older women don't really do that on social media. You're not going to see, if you see an older woman showing off her body or her ass or her cleavage, you look at her like a fucking goofball, right? But when you see the young girls doing, you're like, okay, like young girls doing young girl thing, right? It's okay for them to do. You just don't give a fuck. You're like, okay, they love the attention, validation. But these older women, when you see them doing that or getting tattoos, you're like, you should already be past that. Like, what the fuck? It's just not normal.
Yeah. Yeah, it will be interesting, though, again, if this podcast is, if someone listens to this episode 10 years from now, disregard our advice, because that means the older women we're talking about are the ones that have been through the phase that we're right now talking about the younger girls are in. And so that mindset will no longer be instilled in them at that time. But for now, a lot of these women that are 33 or older, we're not around during the peak Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, online dating apps, the TikTok, the social media, show off your body, DM, get DMs from all these guys and all that stuff. So they have a little bit of a different mentality in that aspect. All right. So that's kind of I'm done with my list that I had down here, Zard. Is there anything you want to leave us off with?
Yeah. So okay. I'm going to do this quickly, guys. So younger girls, and this is talking about one of the guys in my VIP membership. He's dating a younger girl who's 22. They come with more insecurities. So that's something you have to be willing to take care of and deal with. The older women don't come with as many insecurities as these young girls do. I've had girls that were 19, 20 calling me up crying because they had dreams of me cheating on them and bawling their eyes out. I'm like, what the fuck? That's how you know if a girl's in love with you, by the way, guys, if she actually has dreams of you cheating on her. Okay. But older women, they're not going to come with those types of insecurities, right? So they've learned from their mistakes. They're more accountable. Older women are more responsible for their actions. So they've learned from their mistakes. Okay. So one of the examples I give is the boundaries we talk about. Don't gossip about me and our relationship to a third party ever. Older women tend to not do that because they learn from their mistakes. They're not going to be telling their mom, their dad about you. They're not going to be telling their kids about you. They're not going to say anything negative. They are accountable because, once again, they've lived through this life. So they gain that knowledge. They gain that experience on not to make these same mistakes anymore. These young girls, they don't come with a blueprint. They're still learning until they get hurt by a guy like me or texting Prince, right? The old guys like us, not anymore, right? Because I'm sure.
No, we're just such
we're angels,
wonderful gentlemen now.
Yeah, we'll never do that. But they meet a guy like us, right? They do all these things, and then we break their heart, like back in the day, and all of a sudden they get hurt, right? They get hurt, they get put back in their place. So they learn from their mistakes. Okay. They learn from dating the players. They learn from dating the alphas. That's why when a girl's older, I tell you guys, turn down the alpha a little bit, maybe even a lot, depending on how alpha you are. Now it's time to turn up the charm and charisma.
Yeah. And Czar never means turn off the alpha and turn on the beta. That's never it. But I think he means less of that. Like he said before, that narcissistic, brash, like player leading with that, oh, I'm a player type thing. Like younger women will eat that up, but older women, it's like you got to be more diplomatic about it, more charismatic and smooth about how you go about it, rather than showing up and being like, yeah, you want me, I know you want me. Like younger women will be attracted to that type of confidence. Some older women will be like, okay, you're one of those guys, you're one of the players. They've sniffed it out more, but we both will never mean turn down the alpha, meaning turn up the beta. Never. Girls never will be attracted to beta men.
Yeah, still carry yourself like a king. Have the right attitude. Your attitude is everything, fellas. You are the prize. But what I'm saying is, don't be too cocky or too funny with these older women, because I ran game on older women that scared them away, being cocky, funny, teasing them. That works on younger girls. So find that right balance, okay? You need to have a good mouthpiece with older women. They like hearing poetic things in a masculine way. That's what I'm trying to say, that charm, that charisma. Your words have a personality to it. They have meaning, okay? So that's the point that I was trying to make. I think I covered everything. Yeah. You covered everything. If you have questions, ask us.
Just to leave off again, guys, to remind, because I know we went all around the place on here. We were just trying to give you a difference in perspective of the different type of women and how to maybe morph your game. But again, always remember, regardless of what age the girl is, if you show her your cards that you want her more than she wants you, she will be turned off in a sense and be looking for better, or she'll know she has you and maybe she's not looking for better, but then she'll go, well, I have this guy and I'll make him work for everything, versus wanting to kind of chase and get your validation from you and wanting to really lock up your heart. If she already knows she has it, she's not working towards that, you won't be treated as well. So that's always a staple. Like Andrea said there when she said that she won't chase, I don't agree with that. I didn't want to get in an argument with her on there, because a lot of times you can't reason like that in the middle of a podcast with women when they have their mindset. But I know that if I was going for a girl like Andrea, yeah, she would chase. She might be harder to, she wouldn't be upfront about it. Or like Czar said, it would take her longer, but I'm still never going to chase that girl. I'm going to get her to slowly chase me. It just might take more time. So again, men are chasing, pursuing purpose, goals, ambition. Women are chasing and pursuing to get that man that's ambitious to get and commit to them. So that's women. Women are chasing that commitment from men. Men should be chasing goals, ambition, and purpose. And that will always be true regardless of the age of women. It's just the older women, you're going to have to play it a little smoother to get them to buy in and chase because they've been through more guys. Younger women will be more likely to chase right away because they love the games. But just that fine tuning of your game at different stages, depending on how old she is.
Yeah, so don't chase the older women. Don't chase any girl. But what I'm saying is, if she doesn't answer your text, she's busy, guys. Not like these young girls who are on their phone 24/7. She will get back to you. If she's reciprocating that energy back, it's okay. Call her up, set up the date. With older women, from what I learned is they would prefer you call them than text. A lot of them really aren't into the texting game until once again, they start chasing you. Then you teach them, okay, you got to text me. They'll start texting you. But in the beginning, I've had women say, I prefer phone calls. I thought she wasn't interested because she wasn't answering my text. And then all of a sudden, I called her, set up the date. 100% she was there. Okay.
Yeah, and actually, this is a good clarification because there are some women that are going to be much more receptive to phone calls. But what I like to do in that scenario, if she goes, I want to talk on the phone, there's been girls like that, with me is like, I want to talk on the phone. I will say, all right, when do you want to call me? I'll say, when do you want to call me? Because if you just go, well, this girl's not answering my text and start calling her up. Well, if she's busy or not, and she doesn't pick up, you don't know. And now you're going to look more needy if she didn't pick up. And then you're going, well, wait, do I call her again or not? So if a girl wants to talk on the phone, just kind of how I ask a girl on the date is I will say something like, all right, well, when are you free for a quick phone call? And then she might say 8 or whatever it is. And I'll say, all right, give me a call around then. And then I'm putting it in her, spot. So I'm not even saying 8 o'clock, we'll talk on the phone and I call her. Because again, if she doesn't pick up, that becomes me more heavily invested than her, me chasing in a sense, because I'm calling her. So even if you want the phone call, try to set it up in a way that she's going to call you. And then I try to keep it brief, give her a quick little chat. And then I'll go, hey, I got to go. I got a few projects I want to get done, or I got to get to sleep. I'm waking up early to go work out and get to work. So I still will keep it where I'm still busy, but I want to put that ball in her court where I'm saying, yeah, sure, we can have a phone call. When do you want to call me? So then she's calling, she's chasing in a sense, she's committing herself in a sense, she's investing in that sense rather than you trying to call her and not knowing whether she picks up or not.
I'm stealing that, by the way, texting Prince. I know if I'm learning shit on these podcasts, I know these guys are learning shit too. I know everyone's learning shit, right? Because that's a great way of rephrasing that. When can you call me?
Yeah, because you're right. There are going to be women that want that voice connection, but I still want to make it to where she's still steadily chasing. And because again, if you're like, you got enough games that you can get away with any of that stuff, but it's always better, right, to have a girl chasing. So even though she might still pick up your phone call, I'd rather have her call me and then me pick up and chat or whatever than vice versa, where I'm calling her, then if she doesn't pick up, and you never want to be that guy that's now texting her and calling her and she's not responding. Now that looks needy, right? So
and I don't advise calling these younger girls when you first get their number, because they look at it as creepy, needy. Give them a text that stands out.
They're in the texting phase. These younger women have grown up. The texting is the way of gatekeeping who they want to see and spend time with. And so guys that go, well, I don't have text game, I just call girls, and if she's not interested, fine. It's like, you got to understand, in this era, you have to know how to text or be cool about texting, because younger women and even now medium-aged women have texting as such a form of communication that they're using that to weed out what guys have game and not. That's how they can sense if you're a guy that has game, is, does this guy understand the text game, or is he rushing everything, trying to get me on a date right away because he doesn't trust his text game. He's trying to call me every time because he doesn't trust his text game. Well, that signals to her he's not good with women. And again, women don't want guys that are not good with other women. They want a guy that's good with a bunch of women, and they want that guy to commit to them.
Yeah, I've lost young girls by calling them first, trying to be bold, brash, confident, and they look at it as creepy. Like, oh, he's that needy guy. He's going to keep calling me, right? These older women, you call them, they're all ears, man, especially if you have a good mouthpiece. So, guys, tread carefully. Okay, these younger girls, I'm talking like 18 to, let's say, 21, 22, text them. Build that comfort with them first. Go out with them. Then it's okay to call them. Because in their mind, they're like, nah, you didn't earn that yet, right? We're not going to FaceTime. We're not going to call yet. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, and in her mind, she's like, "Why would I call you? You're ruining my scroll time on TikTok.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of videos I want to upload right now. I don't want to talk to you on call. Text me." Like it's just a different mindset for sure.
It's so true. Yeah. Yeah. We could end on that, texting Prince. You could end it out.
Okay, so that was the end of our podcast here of dating younger versus older women, some of the different, discrepancies. And again, if we have women on in the future, just like we had some emails that came in, thank you guys for emailing us or messaging me on Instagram or Czar asking questions, because when we have women on, our goal is to make them feel comfortable and talk. And so I'm not trying to sit here and get in an argument with women over Zoom and trying to convince her that she's wrong. Like there's enough podcasts out there that you can see, that you can watch on YouTube, where they'll just call those women out, and that's great for clicks and views. But we'd rather get women of all different ages comfortable with us, talking to us. We get to hear their mindset, and then we can come down and break it down again in the next podcast and kind of tell you guys some things that, like, she said this, I don't think she really meant that. Here's why. But we're trying to get women to, have a cordial conversation, and you get to hear. And like, that's what we say when you're talking with women, you don't want to be combative with women. You want to just listen, let them, get it off their chest of what they want to say. Because again, if you're trying to barge in and say, no, that's wrong, you're never going to get the full truth of how she feels. It's much better to let her reveal how she feels. And then later you can make that decision on, okay, wait a second, I disagree with this. But when you're combating women right away, a lot of women will be turned off or shell up, and then they won't give you the actual truth of how they feel about things.
Yeah, and if you're arguing with a woman, it's like blowing air into a balloon that has a hole in it. It's like women are based on emotions, fellas. You're not going to sit there and win an argument with them. Their verbal jujitsu is beyond anything you've ever seen before. But you can disagree, communicate in a healthy way, and we challenge any other woman that has great stories of men they dated. Because Andrea with that dishwasher story, that blew my mind. Okay,
don't send dick pics, guys.
Yeah, and don't send unsolicited dick pics. Okay, if you guys missed that episode, please catch it on episode 13. Okay, we love you guys. Put on the full armor of game and protect yourself.
See you guys. Take care. And those of you guys that signed up for a coaching program, you'll have an email from us shortly.